Good morning again to all the listeners of WEFM. We are in our Activated Mornings segment here with Roleza and Dianna. At this time, we are going to be conducting an interview with the National Center of Technological Innovation, the NCTI. In studio this morning, we have Mr. Petrus Gomes, who is the CEO, and Charles Burke, who is the network administrator and senior instructor, both at the NCTI. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome back.
Good morning, glad to be here.
How are you? Oh, my bad. 1 minute. All right, so let's try that one more time. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? How are you this morning?
And those listening in the diaspora.
Not too bad.
We're doing well still.
That's a try, not too bad, Petrus. Let's try that again. How are you, Petrus?
I'm doing fine.
Lovely.
Fine.
All right.
All right, so tell us, what are you here to discuss with us this morning? I noticed that NCTI has some things going on, so let's...
All right, so this morning we have quite a bit of things that we want to do coming up in the next half of the year for St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the professionals and so forth who have been asking tirelessly for different things to get involved with, So this morning we want to talk a little bit about some of our self-paced courses that we have, self-paced, self-learning courses, our new summer program that's coming up to get students into some of the new technology that we have partnered with different organizations to bring. And we have a big, wonderful news that the NCTI St. Vincent has now been one of the few institutions in the Caribbean who has now been assigned the ETA license, that is Electronics Technician Association license. And we want to talk a little bit about that, as well as talk about some of the new courses that come under that particular license.
Sounds exciting, Petrus. Oh, yeah. Sounds like a lot happening. All right. So where do you want to start?
First of all, I want to hand over to Mr. Bob to talk a bit about the self-paced programs, that we have going on.
Okay. Well, we are in the process, haven't really completed, but we're in the process of revamping NCTI's website and the learning portal. And very short, in a very short space of time, we'll be launching some non-traditional courses on our platform. We over the years, and as technology evolves, we have to change. Over the years, NCTI was focused a lot on hardware, software type training, networking type training, which is still relevant in today's world. But there are new things that are coming on stream that we have to start to prepare our people to face these new type of technologies, robotics, animation, programming, different type of programming. So those are the type of courses we basically want to do. Now, we collaborate with different entities in terms of creating and providing different opportunities for training to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. One of our greatest partner right now in the region is STI out of Trinidad.
Yeah.
We partner with them, and they provide us with a catalog, a lot of these self-paced courses that we want to deliver, and we also are going to create some of those courses on our platform, especially at the introductory level, because sometimes at the advanced level we have to go and we need some face-to-face interaction. But a lot of these courses we could put them on the platform, and you basically could, through assessments as you go along, we could actually, and then final assessments, we could actually track somebody's progress and see how well they do on the course.
Oh, so okay, because I was actually trying to understand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So a self-paced course is basically like persons who don't have the time to come in the physical building to be with an instructor. they could stay at home and on the job or whatever, and go through the course at their own pace and finish at their own time. And at the end, the system will, or the platform will, manage how this particular person traverse through the course in a chronological order. They do, like, say for example, Intro to Excel or spreadsheet, which is one a lot of persons want to do, a lot of organizations want to do, but they don't want to give their employees, for one reason or a time off, to come and do it because maybe they're short staff and everything like that. So they could do this like an introduction to spreadsheet at home, at work, at their own pace, finish the assessment and complete the evaluation. And then once we notice that they're finished, the system will notify us that they're finished and everything like that. We could assess how they did the work, if they need additional help, and then give them the accredited certificate.
Oh, wow. This is something like, Coursera?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's direction.
This is lovely.
What we want to do, we don't want to send persons to Coursera because sometimes, or those other, because sometimes when those other organizations or institutions build their course, I don't think they take our Caribbean people in mind. So we put together a bunch of teachers that, within our system, that could fine tune the style of the questions and everything like that to make sure that we get the best fit for our people. Okay. So those like introductory courses, even like we have like spreadsheet, PowerPoint, QuickBooks, quite recently Power BI, that is an analytical tool I know a lot of organizations use. We also do the Google and also some part of artificial intelligence. So once we get them in the door because we're moving in that direction, whether we like it or not, everyone has to get on board with the technology. That is where St. going, that is where the government is actually pushing, and some of the private institutions. So a lot of us, we want to make it accessible, and at a very cheap rate, of course, for persons to be able to get on board.
Okay, so I just realized that you said it at a cheap rate. So how would payments be made though? Are you going to be making payments online? Is the platform how?
Well, at the moment, the financial infrastructure is not really there to do credit card online payment. So if persons are interested, they could just call the NCTI. Now, a big thing that is happening is people start saying, PME, peer-to-peer.
Right, yes.
It's a big terminology now.
We don't want to have to go anywhere. Stay home.
So we have made that available to persons who just don't have the time to run up to the office to pay physically. So they could just pay us through Bank of SVG or their account, and we just give them their login. Listen, this online thing is crazy. You could do everything and do this to the student one time in their life, the duration. So by doing that, they could pay us online. We get them their credentials. They're able to log in. We will monitor how they are working online. And they're able to meet their instructor at least, twice within the duration of the self-paced program to clarify any misconception or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
You basically would in terms of evaluating the students, you every now and every, most often you log into the platform every day, in a sense, as an admin, right? Because we would normally go into the platform like every day. We'd track, see which students came online, how long they stayed, and you could even follow in their individual progress as to how many assessments they did, whatever they leave, if they didn't do an assessment. Because the way this course is structured, if you don't complete level 1 or the first required modules, you can't go progress to the other module. Okay. Right? So basically, you're trying to kind of put some controls on it.
Right.
All right. And another question, because is it a case, because you said self-paced, is it a case where everybody needs to start, let's say,
at the same time?
At the same time? That you could just go, so Dianna could start next week and I could start a month later.
Right.
Okay.
And then it doesn't mean that, Dianna, because she did the quiz already, that you're gonna be able to get the questions from Dianna and do it. No, because the system will shuffle. Shuffle all the answers and everything like that. So that Dianna say, oh yeah, question 1 board girl, that is E.
Screenshot and save.
not even they won't even allow you to do that. You know? Yeah, because we have to put certain things in control to make sure that you're giving us authentic,
Yeah.
a response and feedback and so forth.
Okay.
So if you have to screenshot it, Dianna, you might make Roleza feel.
Yeah.
You say Roleza
So
did.
scammers out there, yeah, right?
Right. So we get the other big one, which is our new revamped summer program. And we wanted the NCTI to have a summer program that is really putting children or youths into actual and real life technology. So around the summer program, we have, things like robotics training. We have our new ones with the introduction to fiber optics and animation Python's program, and the big one, which is electrode simulation. Now, the persons might not understand what the electrode simulation is. This is where we get both male and female into the idea that they can understand and fix small engine in terms of vehicles, right? So if you want to understand the concept maybe of changing the brakes, instead of actually going and physically deal with it mechanically, you could start with the simulated environment, which is an international renowned application. It works just the same like a real vehicle. So situations they might ask you, they might give you the actual vehicle and say, okay, this vehicle is not starting, right? Go through some steps through the simulator to try and get this vehicle starting. So they might look at the battery terminal, they could do all those kind of things before and then troubleshoot that to the end of the day, the vehicle will actually start. So we want to get students into that kind of technology. The sweet part about this is that it also have hybrid models as well. So we don't really have to have a hybrid vehicle for students to think and start troubleshoot and understand the concept around those kind of things. The fiber optics that we are hoping to get students involved with is working with technician to actually understand the concept and also understand the idea of splicing. I don't know if you realize right now, but there is a shortage of fiber optics technician here in St. Vincent. And we are trying to see at those gaps to see, okay, we need to start introduce this at a young level, teenage level, so that we can get persons involved into this. Persons don't realize, but these kind of hands-on careers, they are the future. Right now, a lot of people still thinking, that the bank and the jacket and tie are the ones that to go for.
The lawyers and the doctors.
The lawyers and the
Let's call them out.
so yeah. Right now in the Grenadines and so forth, I know there's tons of work across the country and across the region that need these kind of technical persons to be involved in these kind of courses. So we're starting with the young ones, and we want to start this summer and start introduce them to this. And this is for age, I think from 14 up, we said. 13 up, right? So we're hoping to get that going for the youth as well.
All right. So I noticed it says 13 and up, but how far is up? Because
Listen, when we sent out the ad, we see adults coming.
You said 13 and up.
Full adults. So we were like, and these the adults were like, listen, I saw you are promoting this thing and we want to know if we can get in on this because we have some experience. We say, no. This is for the young ones that we're talking about, 30.
So 13 to 18, you're going to have
because if the person rushing to the office to come and understand it, because they are thinking of the next big one that we have, which is the ETA certification, right? So the ETA certification, which is an international standard certificate. Once you get this certificate, you can work anywhere in the world, right? So we just got that under our belt as the NCTI like 2 weeks ago, right? And we are now finalizing the content and so forth that person need to know, and the exams, because there's an exams that they have to attempt to get the full certificate to move with that, right? Now, under the ETA, there is quite a bit of courses that persons can be a part of. And these are courses that we heard, have been complaining that there is no technician like that in St. Vincent. So we have like for the biomedical under that we deal with imaging equipment and persons who can learn to fix imaging equipment, and also imaging technician, those kind of equipment at the hospital. And they go through a rigorous training that they can get the work done and get the certificate that they need. Also, one of the big ones that we are looking at is communications and fiber optics. So in the communications, they could deal with 5G technician that deals with, your phone and the cell towers and everything like that, distributed antenna systems. And fiber optics, which is the one that we really want to focus on. We want to get persons into the idea of fiber optics installer, fiber optics out plan. These are some of the guys you see on the streets that are walking behind the vehicles with machines and trying to walk under the tunnel with these light cables to mend them to make sure that you have the speed of internet that you're working with, right? So we want to make sure that is happening. And if you were listening carefully, you would have heard, like in the Grenadines, there's a lot of work of in terms of person going back down to fix the fiber optics line, right? There are just a few of these guys down there. So when they down there fixing, we up in mainland getting problems and we can't solve it because we down in the Grenadines working. So we want to see how best now we can get a lot of students, a lot of person involved in that. Now we know a lot of persons have fiber optics training, right? But although they have the training, they couldn't work within a local capacity because they don't have these kind of certificates. They cannot go beyond the shores of St. Vincent. So we want to make sure that once they get this certificate, they can work anywhere in the Caribbean region. They could move to the States, they could move any country because that is the level at which this certificate is recognized. And we had, within the past week, we had quite a bit of persons coming to the office to find out, okay, I need to get this done because I need the certificate. I need to get, but this one is being launched at the end of July, August. We're hoping to start putting this one off because we have to put the content in place so that persons could get the training that they need. Because even if they have the field experience, they have the know-how now, they still have to go through the content so that they could be well prepared for doing that, because the exam could be pretty pricey.
Okay. How do persons access the courses though? Probably the self-paced courses as well as the summer programs. How do persons get access to that information?
Okay, well, right now we sent it out through our Facebook page, right, with all the contact information, everything like that. With some of those self-paced courses, there will be a registration form that they can sign up to. And once we see that they are signing up, we call them, and tell them, are you ready? If organizations do it, we'll call them and say, whenever you're ready, you can tell us, and then we will give them their credentials and let them log in once payment is made, and they can move at their pace at a certain amount of time that we will give them. The summer program, the same. Persons can do it through registration and everything online, and then we will contact them to get the information and then have them started. The summer program is for 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, starting in July 14th. So we go into that, right? We also have, not to forget, we also have our big AI conference coming up next week, the 25th, right? And this conference is going to be different, right? Because this conference, we actually going to have persons walk with their laptop so that we could actually show them how to use the AI, not just the theoretical, speaking
Practical.
and lecturing. They're actually going to be walking. We're going to walk through at least 10 of the major AI that we think persons can use. For example, one of my biggest issue is working with large data in like spreadsheet, right? You have to crunch through that if you have to do some reporting and everything like that. So we want to show persons that one particular tool could get you fix that within 5 minutes, and you'll be able to interact with that tool to get all the data you need. But also within that, we will be discussing the ethical aspect of it by putting your information there, how to protect yourself while using certain AIs and everything like that. So this conference, person is going to be working with their laptop. We're going to provide all the data, some test data that they could work with, so that they could actually be sitting, walking, and asking questions as we move along in this particular conference.
This conference, is it already have persons already registered?
Oh
Who is
yeah,
it?
oh yeah. We have quite a bit of persons already registered,
Yeah,
and
people still calling.
yes, they calling and
Up to
everything.
last week, about 30 registrants, right?
Yes.
And
So
people still calling.
and still
How
calling.
was
So
the information put out though?
the information was put out through Facebook again, and we sent it via our mailing list and through the
Okay.
government mailing list as well. You know,
It's
that-
basically how to use AI more efficiently in the workplace. I think that's
yes,
the
because
gist.
what we realize, a lot of people hear the terminology going around. A lot of people don't really know how to interact with it because we might see Chat GPT and we might ask it, or what that's one of them, that, oh, what is maybe how to put it? What is the result for 2 plus 2? Okay. And then it gives you the answer. But they don't realize that you need to have a conversation with that particular chatbot to actually understand. So some persons are fearful that it will shortcut the system, but really and truly, AI, for want of a better language, is not really for the slow person. AI is for intellectual person, because the intellectual person will say, explain the process of how you arrive at the
Asking the
answer for
correct
2 plus 2.
question.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And then it will give you, the step-by-step breakdown of how it did that. And then you might go on to say, okay, wonderful. Now based on what we just discussed, let's create for me a video script, and then you use another AI to just bring your tools out.
It's
And
like
everything.
a conversation you have with the chat GPT.
So on that particular day, we run in persons through 8 of these to see how they can move from, analyzing their data to using that same information to present their data and produce the graphs and all the things they need to present in their meeting under a matter of 20 minutes, when you spend a whole week, to get this done, right?
So is it okay? So is it at this time targeting government, public sector employees?
No,
As
everyone,
it's
private
just
sector.
everybody?
Yeah, everyone
Okay.
who's interested. We want them to be part of this because, a lot of persons are concerned about job displacement. Job displacement is a real thing to look for, but I think that job displacement is even quicker coming your way if you don't learn how to use the tools.
To integrate it.
To integrate it. Because let's say, for example, you are right now we have persons doing meetings and not realizing that they could use one particular AI to manage all the conversation, record all the conversation, email it all to all the person who's part of the meeting, and it does it word for word because it now understanding our language and our accent and everything like that, and it almost as accurate. So now a secretary might say, "Oh Lord, I might lose my job," but the secretary have to realize, listen, you have to learn this AI to tell the boss, yes, I know you're all using AI, but sometimes the grammar and so forth is good, so I still need it. You have to learn the tool to defend yourself. And then you can go in now and correct it and make sure that, the boss, you're still relevant around the office.
And I think it just makes that person's job a lot easier because rather than having to spend down and sit down and write out
and everything
minutes
like
and then type them out and then
yeah.
Where was this when I was doing this?
Exactly.
Right? So, but are you still taking persons though?
Right up until the
Wednesday? Tomorrow?
No, I think we're extending it to Friday.
Okay.
Because we have some businesses who want to send persons and they say they want to get the numbers in so that we could do it. So we're looking maybe at comfortable capacity, about 50 persons.
We're using an NIS conference room.
And at the NIS conference room and everything like that.
Okay.
So we the funny part of it is that a part of the registration, we ask persons to share, 2 of the things that concern that you have. The biggest one is, will I lose my job and everything like that, and the other one is like, okay, people are concerned about security and data protection and everything. So all of those things, as we're working, we're going to be discussing with persons. We talk, some persons say they want to understand it a little bit more about legislation. So we're going to show them an AI that they can use to pull that information together while telling you where the source of the information is coming from so they can verify.
Right.
So we understand a lot of people are concerned, but we want to make people know that the human aspect is still relevant. The human loop is still relevant. But these are tools that you need to get on board with. There's no if or but about it.
Okay. So let's go back to two things though. What's the cost for the self-paced programs?
So these are fairly affordable. It is like about think like $250 for the course, yeah. Introductory course, and we try to keep a time limit on it. So sometimes we give courses like a month and a half to complete it.
Okay.
Because we don't want you to have yourself string out too much, so that by the time you reach the final assessment, you completely forget everything that you have done. So yeah, so we do it like say $250 per course, and we want to keep everybody within like a month time to get it done.
Okay. And back to the summer program courses, given that there is an interest by many adults, are you going to be offering similar programs for adults?
Right, yes. Our intention was to really get the kids them involved in it and, get them exposed and show persons that what these young ones are doing. But it seems like we have a lot of adults in the corner, the peeping and waiting and so forth. So we will be launching all these courses on a more advanced level for adults who want, because most of the adults are coming are persons who are actually in the field,
right,
and want to get it done.
Because when you described the one with the vehicular simulation, I was there thinking, might be targeting persons who are either thinking about getting into that field or who are already in that field.
Right. Yes. Yes. People who are interested, and not to downplay it, but if you just want like a lot of females, a lot of females.
Let me hear where you're going with this.
Yeah, they don't want to get in because they say, okay, I don't need to do that. But sometimes I think females you still have to understand what is taking place, because you could be standing there and generally what I've seen, if somebody's walking on a female vehicle, they go and sit down in the office and say he go take care of that. But now you have the opportunity while the vehicle is sick, you could peep and you say, listen, if you forget a screw there, a screw belong to the vehicle, some of our mechanic not the most thorough. You miss a screw there, and they will say, the mechanic might say, oh, that is not needed. They say, no. The manufacturer mean it should go, they put it back there.
Exactly.
Right? So you now have some knowledge where you could ask questions and still be part of your whole repairing. So you ain't completely left out of the loop when it comes to
and we should also know so that we don't be overcharged.
Exactly.
Okay.
I had a question here and I lost my train of thought there. Sorry. As it relates to the AI conference, though, seeing that you're having such an influx of persons now, you probably wouldn't be able to accommodate everybody. Are you going to have like a phase 2?
Well, we're hoping to, we're watching the numbers and we're hoping to accommodate everybody at the moment. And this has to be an ongoing conversation, an ongoing, workshop. So this might be one, and then based on we see how the response is looking, we might plan another one later on, because not only we looking at AI, we're looking at also, you will notice that even for workers who assist with, cleaning our roads and everything like that, the government is not really giving them any cash anymore. They're giving them bank cards to go and do. So that brings another aspect to what we'll be talking there as well, how to protect yourself using these bank cards, or to protect yourself looking at various technology, your information, your password. One of the things that we do is because we in St. Vincent and we really reach, I think we didn't reach that level. Like you go to a restaurant or the grocery store and you hand your card and you see the lady going with your card, you swipe somewhere. Me follow them, right? Me follow them with my card. So one time the lady asks, what happened? Miss, you have my card.
Right.
I have to keep an eye on that. You want to go home and see we go 0.000 and then
That's
and
true.
money gone. But those kind of things that we take for granted, we at restaurant and we pass our card and the lady gone with the card in the back.
Sometimes we take the phone, take a snap of your card.
Yeah, those kind of things. So as we get into these digital age, these are some of the things that we have to start talking about, to start discussing, and actually show some practical aspect. Even after we want to also show them, even when you go to the ATM, there's a particular way you have to stand at the ATM, in a more defensive stand to protect, eyes and so forth and everything like that. That's the reason why you see like Bank of History, put that little thing over your hand. Those are some little subtle things that we are see changing and persons are not aware. So all that kind of discussion that we want to have at our conference coming up on the 25th.
Okay, so for persons who may not necessarily be on social media as much, I just happened to saw the thing last night because I think it was a sponsored ad.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So if they want to, can they actually be added to the mailing list, the email mailing list? Because I think that is a bit more direct form of messaging for some persons.
Yes. Beautiful. We are now sending out a new request, right, for persons who want to be part of our mailing list. They could sign up and send in their email address. Just a simple registration form. And we're going to add those names to our mailing catalog so that when because we have so much new things coming online that persons need to be aware of. To tell you how important it is, we saw a registration came in and part of the registration was asking the age, right? And the age of this particular person, they said 60-ish. So
probably 70.
Yeah, and then we realized, that although this person or lady is at this particular age, they're still interested in technology because we realize that this is one of a more prominent business owners in this. And this person wants to just get in the knowing and see what is going on because, of course, with the persons don't realize with AI, you actually have a team behind you. If you have 2 or 3 AI, you actually have a whole staff behind you, right? You have, with a particular AI, you have person going to learn how to use maybe one of these AI to maybe clean up their language. The English language. Everybody on Facebook, quick to jump at the little mistake you make on, so you have the particular keeping a watch on your grammar and everything like that. Keep it going. Your email have to solve a particular how the AI is working with that for you. And English language, whether we like it or not, is one of the hardest language you could ever work with. You don't even have to tell me. It's one of the most difficult things. So I know I have the particular weakness. So then I use AI to guide my language because now you have the quote unquote the CEO. Your language have to be a particular level coming from. So we showing and working person how you could use the AI. Now for the business persons, they're dependent on the accountant to give you statistics and so forth, reports and everything like that. With one of them that we're gonna show persons how you don't have to know what the accountant know, but you're gonna have, after using particular AI, you'll be able to ask more pertinent questions to get more information that you need to do what you want to do. Right now, I think it's a digital age, and data and information is important. And if we don't get on that bus, because a report gonna take someone a week to do, compared to another office, maybe your competitor done it within a couple of minutes and get the information you need to make the decision to move forward, they already gone ahead.
Okay. All right, so I know that we need to wrap up, but we have a question here. Someone says, can someone outside DINSI apply?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's where the NCTI is at right now. We want to be able to connect with anyone across the region that is interested. We are currently hoping to make a partnership with the NTRC to push a lot more, even gives a little scholarships to some of these big courses that we want to do, so that persons can make it be easier to come. Even KCCU has come on board to offer some small little funding for persons who cannot really afford the cash right away to be able to jump on these courses and be okay. They were instrumental in assisting us with the recently launching of the robotics program here at St. Vincent. They were a big part of it for us.
Okay. Yeah. And just one more question. Well, this person sent 4 questions, but we just pick one, right?
Okay.
When will the Caribbean make a positive contribution to open source community, and why is there no working association?
Well, persons are still struggling talking about the open source community. The thing about the open source community is a vibrant community, but is not one that has been pushed or trusted for a very long time. For you to really get on board with open source, you have to really understand what open source is about. It gives you that flexibility to actually own the actual codes and so forth. But what we have been doing throughout the Caribbean most of the time is the purchase of proprietary software where we can give, if something goes wrong, we can call on that owner of the proprietary software to fix it. Which one, while if it's open source, you have to fix it yourself.
You're on your own.
You're on your own.
Okay.
So we have not reached that area where we have some of the technical expertise to really fix some of the open source.
Maybe
issues
that is
we-
why it was talking about the community.
Yeah, the community.
Yeah, the
We don't
community.
have that because our community is very, very small. So that's why you see sometimes some people go, okay, the Apple. Everybody want to jump on Apple. But somebody might say, oh, you Apple people, if you want it fixed, you have to go straight back to Apple. But with us now, I could install something and I could fix it because I have the technical idea how to fix it.
Okay.
But persons who don't know how to troubleshoot and so forth, they rather just buy it and just let it do its thing. If you need, probably send it back to the warranty and get it done.
Okay.
So it's something that is a work in progress for our Caribbean here.
Yeah, and it's your trust. It's your trust, security, all that.
All that kind
the
of-
private
yes.
sector, the government. It's a matter of trust in terms of open source, right? I know government uses some open source
Applications, yeah.
right? But
It's
to
not
go-
heavily
to go-
pushed.
to go virtually open source is it's a matter of trust, security, and other
and
things.
also the technical expertise to fix this open, because open source is like, for example, if you have your operating system here, which you have maybe Microsoft, when you get an open source application, you actually own the codes. You take the codes, they are yours, right? If anything wrong with it, it's on you to fix it. You can't call Microsoft to fix it if it's open source. But if it's proprietary, in the case of what you have in Microsoft, then you have to go look for the Microsoft side to download what they have to fix it and everything like that. So that is where that whole trust.
So you virtually would depend on the open source community a lot to deal with some of the open source issues that you may have when you use open source software, because you had discussions and somebody would use a fix or something, somebody would upload what they do to fix
What
the
they did to
problem.
fix it,
You know,
yeah.
so it's like a community we could help you solve issues. with
But I
open source.
guarantee you, as we go through, as we bring these online, like for example, like the spreadsheet, the PowerPoint, we are going to show persons there are other alternative out there other than the Microsoft Office and so forth that they could use if they can't afford, because it could be pretty
Open
expensive.
Office,
They could use these same tools to do
Google
the same work,
Sheets.
right? So we'll be supporting that in a sense.
All right. So
All right, so we're going to wrap up. So we're
Okay.
going to allow you 20 seconds because we're already over time. So 20
Okay.
seconds each to just inform persons or invite persons to get more information from NCTI and to register,
Well,
etc.
as this, the CEO of the NCTI, we want to persons to know, to know that we here at the NCTI are working very hard to make good partnership with different organizations to bring new technologies to our shows so that they could be part of it in terms of from a young age, from 13 up. And we want persons to be able to come to the NCTI, talk about these things and give us ideas of where they want to support even organization so that we can assist them in getting these training out of the way. Please note that, the NCTI is there for industry level certificates. So when they finish here at the NCTI, they could use this certificate to be portable, regional, internationally, and anywhere they think they could work with. And these training, of course, they're going to have a cost to them because we have to source, facilitators, content. If you can't find a facilitator here, book it so that the NCTI will find it regionally or internationally to get them the help they need.
all right, and with that, you spoke already. Oh no,
Basically, all I want to say that the NCTI is here and we're here to stay, and everybody should know that our telephone number is 485-6915, or you could reach the office at svgncti.org. 485-6915, and our email address, the main email address is office at svgncti.org.
all right then, and with that, we have come to the end of our interview here with the National Center for National Center of Technological Innovation, the NCTI. We're speaking with Petrus Gomes and Charles Burke. Enjoy the rest of your day until we meet again for another interview.
We'll be back.
All right.
We'll be back.